Hi everybody, welcome to Walker's Guide and welcome to day 25 of 30 Days of Wild. 5 days left. So today it's a bit later in the evening, not as late as yesterday, but I'm out and about having a little stroll and I'm about to walk down this path. Now I was actually out hoping to catch some sight of some small mammals, but I got to the gate and before I walked through it I came across this wee beastie. This is quite possibly one of the most well-known plants in the country. One that we all know not to walk too closely to. Oh, someone needs to grease that gate. Because it has a habit of giving us a bit of pain. This is, of course, the stinging nettle, or Ultra dioicea. It's around all year round and it's always here. They grow quite tall, up to about a metre. That's what the books all say, but that one there is about 6 foot, so that's 1.8 metres. And they're common, really common. They can be found everywhere, in gardens, in hedgerows, on the side of footpaths, where they grow cheek by jowl with other plants. But the interesting thing with them is their stinging nettle. The stinginess. They have little, effectively glass tubes that snap and have effectively a poison in them. And when they snap and put the poison into you, every time you itch it or move it, it gets worse. Now, why they have stingers? Well, the answer is quite simple. They're tasty. It's to stop rabbits and deer and animals from eating them. They go in, they give it a sniff. Oh, what's that? I'm going to eat it. And they get a stinger on the nose. They ain't going to eat it anymore, are they? There are other important things to remember about the stinging nettle, because they actually have a really important role for feeding of other animals. Things like butterflies, caterpillars feed on the nettles. The red admiral, the small tortoiseshell and the comma all feast upon the leaves. Predatory beetles, flies and spiders use them as a habitat. And of course things like the froghopper larvae and aphids all like to tap into the sap. But what good are they? Well, for us, we can actually make them into really quite delicious and soup, nettle tea, and all sorts of useful things. Now the name, the common nettle, the burn nettle, the stinging nettle, all indicates maybe there's another one. Well, there's also the dead nettle. The dead nettle has no sting. That's why it's called dead nettle, because it's dead. I mean, it's not dead, it just doesn't sting you. The scientific name, the second half, dioicea, is Greek, meaning two houses, because the male and the female have separate plants. It's dioecious. The Ultra is to do with the hairs. It's the pain that it gives, and it just hurts a little bit. But basically, the stinger hair is a tube filled with this fluid that burns, not physically, but when it gets into your skin, it feels like it is. And that tube snaps into the skin, and that chemical, that irritant, flows in and causes the sting. It's the same way that lots of stinging caterpillars do it. Something many of us are taught from young kids is if you get stung with a stinging nettle, then you need to use a dock. A dock being a type of plant that you crush the leaves up on and rub it against the stinging nettle. Now, I was investigating this a few years ago, looking to see if it was true. and I found some studies, and they'd done exactly the survey and the study that I wanted to do, but they had a bigger cross section, and the answer was no, it don't do nothing. It helps psychologically, but it doesn't necessarily help physiologically. It makes your brain think it's doing good, but it doesn't necessarily actually work. But what does a dock leaf look like? Well, helpfully, stinging nettles and dock often live quite close together. They have a similar sort of requirement. And so we'll have a look at some, and then you'll be able to see. This is a dock, one of our two native docks. We have the bitterleaf dock and the broadleaf dock. This one, to me, looks like a broadleaf, and these are the flower heads at the top. And the tradition is you take a leaf, you rip it off, fold it up, and then rub it on the stinging nettle sting. And there's a few of them down the path here, and directly opposite are our friends, the stinging nettles. Also down the path is this rather beautiful plant here, the teasel. They are loved by goldfinches and other birds because they actually eat the seeds. They're really common, and the seed heads themselves, which are up here, will stay for a long while, even after plants have died back. They've got thorns all the way up their stems. That'll keep off the slugs. But soon, well, in a few months, these beautiful green teasel heads will be brown, full of seed, and the goldfinches will be in, collecting them, teasing them free. That is the stinging nettle, and that is day 25. I've actually tried to do 4 other videos today, and either the topic wasn't in agreement, shall we say, or the battery on the camera ran out. But that's day 25. I'll see you tomorrow for day 26, and that's all. Bye.